and welcome back to our continuing exercises on the Let's Defend platform. We have what I believe is another brand new event in time for March 1st, 2021, that is of SOC131 event ID 67, or better, well, I really can't say better known as, but effectively named as Reverse TCP Backdoor Detected. Alright, so this looks like this has affected Mike's computer. So let's go ahead and pull up the log management and we'll take a look and see if we can't find the endpoint. So source, oops, oh, I screwed that up royally. Let's see. 172.16.17.14. Boop. Okay, these are all dated August 29th. So it doesn't look like this is going to be what we need. But let's go see as to whether or not if maybe there's something wrong here. Mike's computer, 172.16.17.14. PowerShell. All old connections dated 2020. So nothing in current year, which is 2021. No browser log. Okay, well, I mean, that is what that is. So it is making claims of an MSI.bat. And I have gone through and pulled that down. See if I can't bring it onto screen here. Oops. There. So that is the code that should be running. From that, I did dump it into VirusTotal. Let me get that out of the way. And no engines detected. And this is a current as of March 1st detection. Or scan analysis, whatever you want to term it as. And there is not much information out besides that. That's what kind of led me to going through and actually just taking a look at this myself and trying to run it inside of a Windows 7 VM with Python 2.7 installed. So I was able to actually observe it doesn't seem to work anymore, but it does try to make a connection out to this 81.68.99.93. I'm assuming if everything goes through, it basically kicks off and runs a command window. I definitely got a command window, but nothing happened afterwards. Except for an error message, I believe, in regards to the communication was rejected. If it was HTTPS, which would make it 443. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll take that off the screen. And let's see, taking that IP address, dumping it into Talos, we get the surprise, China, Tencent Cloud Computing. So not a massive shock there. So it definitely would be, you really can't say if it was a backdoor, but it was definitely communicating over a TCP port, so we're at least good on that particular aspect. And then running through, we have the same where it looks like it kicked off a command window, onset a hybrid analysis, and I don't believe, okay, yeah, I did run through and submit an any.run, and it did not do anything, though I do not believe the any.run has Python 2.7. So that would explain the failure to get any sort of result here. Let's see, and then, yeah, this was just the virus total. Taking a look at that 81.68.99.93 address. So let's do this. Let's go back to the log management. We will change the source address to that. Nothing. Okay, let's get rid of there, and still no communication outbound. Well now. Nope, no two ways about it. Although the interesting thing is, when I take a look at the MSI.bat was uploaded to Virus Total, it gives relations to, I believe, Amazon and Apple Engineering and something else, but none of those seem to have any sort of detections either. And we're kind of light on everything else. So can I sit there and actually say that it is indeed a backdoor? Not necessarily, because we weren't able to sit there and see the sucker run. Add to the fact that we don't see any sort of actual activity back and forth. But we most definitely have something weird going on with this mic computer. I would still sit there and say that effectively we just go for broke. I mean, I doubt that there's really supposed to be any sort of communication to China. So let's go ahead. I think we've got enough analysis done. This was cleaned, so it looks like it started to run and then pretty much just cut it off at the knees. So we'll go ahead and take ownership of SOC131, EventID 67. We will go ahead and kick off the playbook. Well, if this was... couldn't find any traffic. Can't say that it was actually sit there and kicked off to launch automatically, and we didn't get any sort of AV issues because it cleaned the file, so we'll just label it as other. Was it quarantined? It was more clean than quarantine. Oh, well, they cleaned it. I am going to go through and denote as malicious, and this might just be me digging a hole for myself. But I guess we will see. So let's see, we got the MD5 of the bat from my own analysis, and by looking at the code, we have an IP address. Was it, right here, 10-cent cloud computing, we'll use that as the note for the IP address. Okay, so we have the hash of the bat file. We have the hard-coded IP address that it attempts to reach out to. We don't have an email. We don't have any sort of actual URL address, anything else like that. If someone requested the C2. Well, going through, we don't find any sort of evidence for the connection to that, so we're going to say no. Okay, so we did get at least some evidence for this. Okay, let's go ahead and submit. True positive, not 100% sure it is indeed a backdoor, but it is a batch file. Uses Python 2.7 to call out to a China IP via HTTPS. And we're just going to go ahead and call it a true positive. And we'll see as to how they judge us. Apparently, they're not going to judge us harshly at all. They're going to give us points. Sweet, delicious points. Okay, so it is indeed true positive that it was indeed quarantined, even though it was listed as cleaned. Is it malicious? Well, we did not find any sort of evidence to do or to confirm that, considering the fact everything says it's good to go. It's just the sheer fact of, it looks like all it wants to do is just reach out to that IP address in China. And was there access? We couldn't find any, although, granted, today is March 1st, then more than likely they knew that when this stuff went up that let's defend, put this up. They knew that communication channel was shut down. I guess which is a good thing in case somebody goes through and actually runs this thing in a non-sandboxed environment and goes through and hoses themselves. Okay, so bing, bang, boom, there we go. As usual, I will add the links to everything that I found. So the 2 virus total entries, the Talos intelligence for the IP address. I'll even include the hybrid analysis run on the MSI.bat. Past that point, there was not really anything else to go into that. But as it sits, that completes SOC131, EventID 67, or malicious TCP backdoor detected. It looks like what we'll be handling next will be 1 minute later. Same malicious file found on multiple sources. Ooh, 132, which I believe is another new one. So it looks like we're going to tell a little story with this. Oh, look at that. Mike computer, John computer, Sophia. That same MSI.bat. Okay, I guess join me next time when we sit there and we'll continue the story of the odd batch file.